Hey, welcome to the channel. I'm Musically Malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. We are checking out the 2025 album from Paul Meany called Forever Phase. Now, this album reaction comes from our Patreon community. They vote on one album that releases every single week. So if you're interested in that, you can head over to Patreon and get in on the next round of voting. But I also have a ton of other content on Patreon. One of the things that will be on there is the film for this album. So he did like a music video film. I haven't seen it yet, but when I started looking around for music videos, I was like, whoa, he has an entire film that is every song on this album. So that'll be in its entirety over on Patreon, along with a ridiculous amount of other content from other artists as well. I know Paul Meany specifically from his work with 21 Pilots. I know he's produced with some other artists, but most notably with 21 Pilots. We went through all of 21 Pilots music on the channel, and then all their extra stuff over on Patreon, music videos, live performances. I love 21 Pilots very, very much. I'm going to get to see them this fall in Atlanta during the Shaky Knees Festival. So really interested to get in, see what Paul Meany's got going on. I don't think I've ever heard his voice. Maybe in like a behind the scenes video, but I don't think so. So I guess without further ado, we're going to get in. We're going to listen to each song. I try not to interrupt very much in the songs. I'll keep some notes as we go along. That way after the song, if I want to talk about something specific, I've got it right here. So let's get in. This is track number 1, titled Hold the Record. Oh, the other thing, this album does not have self-scrolling lyrics, so I'll kind of have to scroll along, but they'll still be available. So here we go. Hold the Record.
Says no way, but we gonna hold the record.
Oh. I'm going to have to find another word other than interesting. Oh, it's so interesting. And I can see the similarities with 21 Pilots. And a lot of times, like when I'm listening to 21 Pilots, I still find myself like, how the heck do you put a song like this together? And I know it's just piece by piece and iterations and playing with things and getting into sound packs, but just the composition and the different noises and choosing when to drop here and when to add here, and which is what Paul Meany's job is. And obviously Tyler Joseph from 21 Pilots is an incredible kind of producer in his own right, but teaming up with Paul Meany, these guys just know. Here's a good comparison, illustration. There are friends that I have that own a company, and the company builds custom furniture for like generally larger buildings and office buildings. But it's not just furniture. They do a lot of like just installs and interesting things. And when I think of like, oh, let's build a table, my brain, it's like 2x4s. 2x4s, maybe some other kinds of planks. I'm like, oh, we could maybe a butcher block, you know? These guys, when you're like, let's build a table, the hundreds of different materials and finishes and everything in their brain, like they have such a large creative library in building. So even if you're talking about like, oh, we want to do a feature wall here in our office, the amount of things they've done, that they've seen, the textures they've held, the library is so deep. And so when I think about somebody like Paul Meany, people that are masters of their craft, people that have been in like these music production programs basically every day for so many years, they know all these packs that have all these interesting sounds, and not only that, how to take those things and manipulate them or use the voice and add all these different things and turn these different knobs. And so, you know, as I'm listening to this, I'm like, dude, the layering and the dynamics are just, I feel like it's Paul Meany flexing. I'm sure it's going to continue like that and probably leave me a bit dumbfounded as we get further in the album. But from my first time really hearing Paul Meany himself, it makes sense, because when I think about 21 Pilots and how I'm sometimes just like, how the heck do they put that together? You get a mind like Paul Meany behind it and see what he can do here, and it makes sense. Those drums, they go so hard. The toms, that sounds so good. And he has a great voice as well. I'd imagine, obviously, the lyrics are pretty straightforward. When he talks about holding the record, first time I read that, I was like, I wonder if he's trying to say something about like hold the phone, you know, which is like, wait a minute. But I think that really what he's saying, because he's talking about being remembered and things like that, it does sound like a hold the record, like I hold the high score or I hold the record for. That's what it seems to be talking about. All right. Well, we're off to a strong start. And I'm curious too with Forever Phase, you know, because people are usually like, oh, it's just a phase. He's going through a phase. I wonder if Forever Phase is trying to say this idea of like a constant, and especially if he's talking about maybe his place in the industry or his gifts, his talents, what he's been able to build and create and produce. If he's trying to say, no, me operating in this space is a forever phase, not just like a phase. I think that's really interesting if that's what he's trying to communicate. All right. Track number 2, titled Ambulance. I really hate scrolling lyrics, but we're going to do it. I think sometimes he jumped back up like into the chorus and that it doesn't keep building out. So once we generally reach the end, the bottom, I'm probably just going to leave it there and then just try to make sure I can really enjoy everything that's going on in the music. All right, here we go. Track number 2, Ambulance. If there's not an ambulance sound in this, I'm going to be very surprised. Stranger Things.
Terror's cry, echo in the morning sky. Show me what you know. Gonna watch a hero's pride, trip all our panic high, and wonder where to go. In the fight today, I'm trying not to cave in on your help. If my pulse race, you should start to brace yourself. In my arm, flying through a blurry dawn. Everything will move along. Better leave the siren on. We better leave the siren on. What could possibly go wrong that we never counted on? Better leave the siren on. We better leave the siren on. Frantic tracks, burning the terrazzo cracks, running down the hall. I'm wondering if any sense made it in the ambulance. I forgot to call. In the fight today, I'm trying not to cave in on your help. It may be my mistake, I won't suffocate myself. We'll go on, flying through a blurry dawn. Everything will move along. Better leave the siren on. We better leave the siren on. What could possibly go wrong that we never counted on? Better leave the siren on. We better leave the siren on. We better leave the siren on. We better leave the siren on.
This is fun. Oh my gosh, dude. I can't wait to put this on with my kids. I think they're gonna have a ton of fun with this. Okay. Let's go look at this together real quick. Terror's cry echo in the morning sky. Show me what you know, gonna watch a hero's pride. Trip over a panic high and wonder where to go. In the fire today, I'm trying not to cave in on your help. If my pulse should race, you should start to brace yourself. Flying through a blurry dawn, everything will move along. Better leave the siren on. We better leave the siren on. Terrazzo cracks. I don't know what that is. Terrazzo cracks. Terrazzo cracks are common issues usually caused by structural settling, thermal expansion, contraction, improper installation, lacking adequate joints. They appear as hairlines or large fissures, often exacerbated by moisture, and require specialized colored epoxy aggregate filler to repair seamlessly. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm very familiar with that. So terrazzo is that a specific finish or a specific material? Highly durable, sustainable composite material often used for flooring on countertops made by embedding marble, quartz, or glass chips into an epoxy or cement base, which is then polished. Okay, a lot of like old school floors and things were like that. That's what it reminded me of, like old school floors or hospitals. Excuse me, maybe a relationship that's in distress. And this idea of leaving the siren on, that like something could be in trouble. Or even just in his own self, because the idea of being in the fire today, because this hero's pride, so this idea of feeling strong, tripping over a panic high, which I wonder if that's just like a time of panic, of anxiety and stress, and now wondering where to go. So you're somebody who has been confident, but now you're kind of panicking, wondering where to go. You're in this fire, trying not to cave in, like not to lose it, and trying not to cave in on your help. And then if my pulse should race, you should start to brace yourself. And then obviously this idea of a blurry dawn, it sounds like not being fully certain where you're going. And even if you're talking about an ambulance racing through somewhere, but it does sound like this idea of, maybe some sort of emergency, and that's the idea of keeping the siren on. Let me know if you have any further thoughts on that. It's really interesting, though. It does give this feeling, like musically, of kind of traveling. Oh, there was something else he was doing. I don't want to call it I put vocal effect down, but it's not necessarily, I'm not saying he like put something, maybe a specific effect on his vocals, but maybe in a way of utilizing more than one layer of vocals. I don't even know how to explain it other than this feeling of kind of ascending and descending at the same time. It was really strange in a good way. Let me see. I think it was in this section. Oh, I can't click on the lyrics. Normally you can click on the lyrics and start the song there. Let's see. All right, music coming in. That. Or maybe it's just the way he's singing. Better leave the siren on. I'm not a good singer, but there's just something really unique in that section. I kept hearing it through the song, and it was causing me to be like, whoa, that sounds crazy. But, man. Okay. Let's get into track 3, titled Scenic Route. I'm always a fan of the Scenic Route.
Maybe we try too hard, or not enough out.
love this.
Doesn't matter if we stumble or fumble the pace. We will slowly get there our way. Everyone's asking why we didn't follow. Some of us don't yet fly. Maybe tomorrow we'll stay the course for now. Carving our own trails and by scenic route, we will slowly get there. We will slowly get there. Doesn't matter if we stumble or fumble.
Love that part.
We will slowly get there our way. We will slowly get there.
His vocals are awesome.
Slowly get there. Doesn't matter if we stumble or fumble the pace. We will slowly get there. We will slowly
This is awesome, man. This song honestly really speaks to me because not only do I love the scenic route, just period, in driving, and there's a specific road because there's a stretch of highway between the town I live in and kind of like this other town that has many things we don't have in our town. It's not a long drive, maybe 25 minutes. But you can take the direct route, which I do a lot, especially when I'm going there, you know, because that's, you kind of get ready, plan or whatever to leave in time to get to a place at a specific time. But usually when I'm coming home, I go off this side road that's a few minutes longer, but it's not just a straight highway. It kind of curves, it goes up. There are actually these really pretty views. There's trees, there's some farmland. And so I'm a fan of the scenic route. And a lot of times even going on vacation, like if I can avoid for some time certain parts of the interstate and it doesn't make our trip super long, I'll go that way just because I prefer it. And so even within life, this really speaks to me as well because I am 100% more on the side of, you know, everybody has to carve their own path ultimately. But I'm so much on the side of not having to just look at everybody else and be like, well, they did it that way, so I have to do it that way. There is some wisdom in that you need to look and see, well, how did they accomplish that? And there are probably pieces of that you'd be foolish to say, oh, well, forget it, I'll just do it my way. But at the same time, it can be limiting to think that you have to do it someone else's way. I just love this idea that he's like, we have a destination, we have a goal, so it's not even advocating living aimlessly. It's trying to talk about living with purpose, living with certain goals in mind, but the way in which you reach those goals does not have to be the same as everybody else. And sometimes you'll get there faster than others, sometimes you'll get there slower than others. Sometimes you'll have a goal in mind, but when you start heading that way, that goalpost kind of shifts and you're like, oh, maybe that's not exactly what I wanted or was thinking. And I don't know. He said, even if we stumble or fumble. And I really love that, you know. I think that the core principle is you have to run your race. You can't run anyone else's race. No one else can run your race. You run your race and be careful of getting caught in the comparison trap. And we've talked about this recently, so I won't belabor the point. But look to peers, look to people who have gone before you, but only if it fuels your journey. If it begins to breed this, what's the word I'm looking for? If it paralyzes you, if it begins to feed your insecurities, then let go of that stuff and run your race. But if you can look to it and be like, dang, okay, that's cool that they did that. Oh, wow, okay, that's interesting. I like how they did that. Man, that's something I'd really like to achieve. I think I could go that way. Good. But if you look at it and go, gosh, they're so much further than I am, man. I'm never going to be able to do that. I don't have what they have. And it begins to paralyze you. Dude, forget that, okay? Get your eyes back on the prize. Run your race. Because comparison generally is the only thing that causes you to, man, you can create some. Okay, one second. I have an illustration. Okay. This is a drawing from my daughter that she entered into the fan art submission for Warriors. She loves the Warriors book series. And she's on their website, and they do a challenge every month for fan art. So she drew this picture. It's a beautiful picture. Encouraged her, took a picture of it, submitted it for her. But what if you take that picture and I don't know, any one of these would probably work. I don't have any Warriors books down here. But what if you take that picture and you're like, yeah, but it's not this picture. She might still like her picture better. But from just a standing out looking kind of objective point of view, what if it was like, well, yeah, it doesn't look like, yours doesn't look like that. You know what I mean? All of a sudden she goes, something she was super proud of, super excited about, that felt like leaps and bounds forward for her. She goes, oh, yeah, I guess mine's not good. It's like, no, So when you start looking, unless you go, wow, that's cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to aspire to do something like that. But if you go, wow, my stuff sucks now. It's just, you're in a different place. You're in a different place. You're a different person. Run your race. Okay. Here's the horse. He's on the ground. You can't see him. He has been sufficiently beaten. Let's move on. And I loved the voicing, the way he did that. Stumble, fumble. All right, track number 4, Say the Word.
Casualties on the battleground, wounded birds spiral down. Silence rings a deafening sound, and while I tell myself there's nothing I can say to turn time around. Say the word, just say the word, just say the word. We'll throw the world into reverse. While I believe that all the hurt might just forget who caused them first. We can turn the point of no return into a place that finally works. Just say the word, just say the word. I apologize for what it's worth. Swords were made from words we learned to wield them well on trusted terms. Fatal shots dug an early grave, while I tell myself there's nothing I can do to help resuscitate. Say the word, just say the word. We'll throw the world into reverse.
Wow. A little like futuristic jazzy.
We can turn the point of no return into a place that final word. Just say the word. Just say the word. I apologize for what it's worth.
Let's make sure it's not okay. I always like to hold out to see if it's a transition into another song, but it did a hard cut there with about a second left. Oh my goodness, man. This album is it's a lot of fun, man. There's some really meaningful things. And from a lyrical standpoint, I guess it's hard to see because it's in a structure that's different than normal. But they're not really long songs. Yeah, there are. I mean, I guess a lot of them are in the 2 to 3 minute range. And then he's got a 4-minute 59, almost a 5-minute one. But they're not very complicated lyrically, but he's just saying some really meaningful things that I love. Obviously, within this, it sounds like he's talking about maybe some damage that was done with words. This idea of this point of no return, this point we can't come back from, but maybe we can take that and turn it into something that works. You know, it almost sounds like this rescuing a relationship from the brink. Just say the word is, you know, it could be two ways. Say the word could mean this, like, well, actually say the word, you know, of apologize. I'm sorry. It could also just mean say the word as in like, I'm ready to right this ship. I'm ready to forgive. I'm ready to, you know, keep making this work. I'm not done. I'm not giving up. So just say the word and I'm there. I'm in with you. We'll keep fighting. Throw the world into reverse. There's very simple, but effective and meaningful songwriting here, because in my head, I love that idea. Not that you can ultimately take back something that was said or something that was done. Because the reality is it's out there. It's been said, it's been done. And so the hope is that you can repair something to an even deeper level, that you take this thing that was a hurt and that ultimately, as you work through it, it does become part of your story, but maybe can even create a deeper bond because we've moved through something, past something together and fought for something beautiful. But the idea and obviously the sentiment of putting it into reverse is this, like, even though you are going forward, still reaching a place that feels like maybe it was in the past, a place of, which is an interesting thing to think about, right? Because there is no going backwards, but there are seasons forward of reobtaining a love or a joy or a laughter or a peace that existed in a former time. Man, oh, that's got my wheels spinning. Oh, it makes me emotional. I know why. I thought about I watched the anime Vinland Saga a few months ago, and it's pretty brutal, you know, and there's so much war. The second season is very much more about trying to find a place of peace, but yet war still looms. But it makes me think of a land, and you could even go to The Lion King, right? The beginning of The Lion King, absolutely beautiful, thriving land. Mufasa dies, Scar takes over. When Simba returns, the land is parched and dead. And then fire ravages it. But then at the end of the movie, it's a rebirth, right? And so the land in some ways has returned to a former glory, but it's a deeper glory because of something they endured and went through together, an evil they defeated. It's just a really beautiful thing, man. Okay. This is fun. I'm having a great time with this. I can't wait to put this on in the truck. Wonder if he has this on vinyl. Just want to dance to it. All right, here we go. Track number 5. There are no lyrics for this one. So 1 second. I need to change a setting on here. So that I can get the right page up. Okay, this should work. All right, here we go. Semantics. It's funky, man. It's this future pop funk. Makes me think of like Streets of Rage, the game. This is DJ Meany. Why don't you have a seat? Let me take you to school. Feel the vibes. Rest on in. Now rock with me. Let's let it flow. Let's go into the next one. Faux Hero. It's got a little like NF sound to it. Is this a sample? He's flexing on us, dude. It's like trap beat. Oh, I know what it reminds me of. I'll tell you when it's over. Oh, the keys are so fun. Okay. Here's what this reminds me of. For a second, I was like, is this a sample? Something? It sounds like Miley. Is it Miley Cyrus? And I will buy myself flowers. Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na-na. That's what it sounds like. Fun, man. Yeah, I mean, I guess with Paul Meany, coming out with an album is just, I don't know, I'm sure it's just a fun thing for him, you know? Just being able to, because he probably works so much with other people's stuff that maybe he creates some stuff that either others don't want to use, or he's like, ooh, I really want to do that. I'd really be curious if he sat down and was like, ooh, I'm going to make a project, or is it just something that he kind of like was building along the way as he felt and just knew like he wanted to ultimately release something, but wanted to wait till he had enough things to release. And so over time, he's just kind of like, yeah, I'll keep that one. Or, ooh, I've got this little idea here in while working, you know, for other people's stuff. So cool. Okay. This is track number 7, titled Prodigal.
I might have thrown away something dear to me.
Cool.
Following the recipe for sure to change. Was it always there?
Oh.
Not okay, 'cause now I don't have the nerve that I won't stay. I feel it coming back after falling flat. I guess pride goes to return down to that last thread. It's funny what I find and start to realize when I feel that I can't go on. I'm running out of fight and running in the God when I feel that I can't go on. Baby, there's a line from here to the divine when I feel that I can't go on. Yeah, do you hear me now? When I feel I can't go on. Yeah, do you hear me now? When I feel I can't go on. It's funny what I
Oh,
start to realize when I feel that I can't go.
it almost could be like a love song, you know? It's got this kind of sultry.
Running out of fight and running in the God when I feel that I can't go on. Maybe there's a line from here to the divine when I feel that I can't go on. Yeah, do you hear me now? When I feel I can't go on. Yeah, do you hear me now? When I feel I can't go on. Yeah, do you hear me now? When I feel I can't go on.
Oh, that was a cool one. Just vibes, man. Oh, okay. been meaning to say this for a few minutes. I cannot wait to watch the album film. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If Paul Meany, and I'm sure he's got a team that obviously helped him with that, but his creative outlook on music, if that transfers at all to video, that's going to be a very cool thing. So hope you'll join us for that over on Patreon. If you're watching this now, that film is available on Patreon. So feel free to give it a look. Patreon.com/musically malnourished. It's also in the description. So you should be able to find it all over my channel. He said recipe for shoulder chips. That was cool. I might have thrown away something dear to me following the recipe for shoulder chips. It's almost like this life recipe. That'd be a really cool book. Let me explain what I'm thinking. If you had some sort of kind of more philosophical or life book, I guess self-help is the best way to say it, that genre of book, it might already exist. It's kind of like a recipe book, you know? So you want a recipe for shoulder chips? Here's what you do. Do these things, like lose your curiosity and wonder, see the worst in people, whatever, and that will assuredly give you a grade A chip on the shoulder. You can walk around like, master. Okay. How to ego your life. So, very cool line. I love how I said line to the divine when I can't go on. And it's true, ultimately, at least from a Christian standpoint, the Father is near to the brokenhearted. He is strength in our weakness. God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So yes, it is the person who goes, I need your help. I need your leadership. I need your guidance. I need your wisdom. That's when he goes, well, heck yeah, dude. Here is my strength. Here is my power, my wisdom, all of these things. But the person that goes, I got it. He's like, all right, you got it. Like, have fun with it then. So beautiful line. 100%. Now, obviously, the goal in a relationship with God is that it's not just calling on him when you're in danger. He is there for you in that. But the hope is that you could mature in your relationship to a bit the same you'd have a relationship with another person. As much as you might want to be there for the person that calls you every time that they have an emergency, how much more meaningful is it to have a relationship with somebody that's ongoing, and then you're also there in their emergencies. You share the wonderful, beautiful things of life, the good times as well as the rough times. Okay, let's move on to track number 8, titled No Such Thing. These big bombastic horns.
I've been thinking what's behind heavy eyes, like a dam holding hurricane tides, staring straight at a last straw, wanna cast off in the bed of the night. I can't explain why it hurts like it does, or understand any rational because all I know is that I'm reeling from the feeling like I'm paralyzed when it's all up in smoke. Something in my heart still holds. There's no such thing as no God exists. There's no such thing as no significance. Feeling I belong and I found. There's no such thing when there's no something left. There's no such thing as no point to this. There's no such thing as no hope.
Oh.
Buried by the weight on my shoulder. There's no such thing when there's no something left. I can't really
This is cool.
perfect people debate. They don't get what I'm looking at up in smoke. Something in my heart still holds. There's no such thing as no God exists. There's no such thing as no significance. Feeling I belong in rock bottom. There's no such thing when there's no something left. There's no such thing as no point to this. There's no such thing as no more faith to grip. Buried by the weight on my shoulder. There's no such thing when there's no something left. Ever thought it was over? Ever lost what you love most? Second guess your resilience. There's a million others in the same boat. Can't believe what you're under. Any wonder I can't accept. Just the way life goes. I'm up to here, crippling fear. But before I fall, something in my heart still holds. There's no such thing as no God exists. There's no such thing as no significance. Feeling I belong in rock bottom. There's no such thing when there's no something left. There's no such thing as no point to this. There's no such thing as no more faith to grip. Buried by the weight on my shoulder. There's no such thing when there's no something left. There's no such thing as no God exists. There's no such thing as no significance. Feeling I belong in rock bottom. There's no such thing when there's no something left. There's no such thing as no point to this. There's no such thing as no more faith to grip. Buried by the weight on my shoulder. There's no such thing when there's no something left.
That's really smart songwriting. You know, he kind of took this idea and flipped it on its head, because obviously many times when people are using no such thing, it's them trying to deny something. So they're like, there's no such thing as God. There's no such thing as purpose. We're all just floating around here, making our own decisions, doing what feels right. And so kind of flipping that on its head is he's saying, no, there's no such thing as that you're saying. No such thing is no such thing, which I just think is a really cool and smart way to write that. I love that line, any wonder I can't accept, which I think is it could accomplish two things. It says, can't believe what you're under, any wonder I can't accept. Almost like no wonder you can't accept it because of what you're under. This feeling that's like, well, if God existed, I wouldn't be going through this. Or if God existed, these things wouldn't be happening. And that is a whole nother conversation, but evil is not just because there is evil doesn't mean there is no God. Evil will face its judgment in time, and at times it does. But there's also a side of God's grace and patience that he's waiting, because his desire is that no one should perish, but everyone should have everlasting life. And but don't get him wrong. The day of judgment will come, and all the evils that we have desired justice for will be taken care of. At the same time, we need forgiveness for the evils we've carried out and our denials of him. And so, but all that being said, it says, can't believe what you're under, any wonder I can't accept, because it almost also sounds like this idea of like unable to accept this wonder that there is something bigger, grander, that maybe you can't see with your eyes. And yet this idea of faith and of following God does require this awe and wonder. It's been one of the things that I've constantly prayed for and asked God for. It's like, don't let me lose this awe and wonder. Don't let me make this thing just this like beep, bop, beep, boop, boop, beep, beep, bop, boop. Because then I think you really miss what it is, the gift of life that God gave us. Okay. Track number 9, The Surge. This is another instrumental, so we'll probably let it play and roll into track 10, which is the longest track on this album, called Sooner or Later. love that, like breath. Almost like he's beatboxing. That'd be a cool video. Make it look like you're beatboxing, leave the breaths in, but replace the with like actual produced sounds. Wow. All right, let it flow in. See if I got lyrics on this one. We do. Oh, these ones are scrolling. Sweet. An arcade machine.
Everyone knows how it is. Nothing ever goes right. Falling over every day on another cold night. Sooner or later, love's gonna find you. Just as sure as the thoughts that were made of are there to remind you. Come on, tell me how you feel underneath the starlight. Momentary tragedies, suddenly you're alright. Alright, sooner
I'm going to assume future pop is already a genre. Future pop, late 1990s electronic genre blending, EBM. See, that's future pop is actually a electronic music genre has been characterized as a blend of synth pop, EBM, and dance beats based on trance and techno. Is future funk something? Because I get a little bit like R&B, jazzy sometimes in there. Future funk, upbeat, internet-born subgenre of vaporwave emerging around 2010, 2012, characterized speeding up to 70s, 80s disco funk, Japanese city pop. Typically, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I know people, you can get really crazy with the genres, right? And I'm not trying to pigeonhole anyone, but those are the words that come to mind. This one felt future poppy. Sometimes feel like I'm on Space Mountain. And then other ones just had this like, you know, you get the horns and things in there. It starts to feel very kind of jazzy. But yet they're usually these more synthy type sounds. Really interesting. Okay. Track number 11, titled Fear on Your Side. And I'm back to scrolling lyrics. That was weird. I was like one outlier of self-scrolling lyrics.
Brace yourself for what'll go wrong. Another stage goes dark, no sun. When it's all you ever wanted, gone. So all I
Oh, sorry. Hold on. My bad.
Gone. But there's nothing like a little fear
And the acoustic guitar.
on your side.
Surprise.
There's nothing like a couple tears to open your eyes.
You still got tricks.
Nothing like a silly dream no one else believes to fuel the drive. There's nothing like a little fear on your side.
Cool.
You can try your best when no one cares. You can reach for help when no one's there. It's all you ever wanted, gone. It's all you ever wanted, gone.
Really interesting song, man. From a soundscape perspective, that's one of my favorite on the album. Because it almost like Fearscape. It had this very soothing, obviously like electronic, kind of wavy synth thing, but then there's like these kind of darker tones and even like sort of shrieking, strange noises. Obviously a very positive song even in that. The idea of fear being on your side, a little fear on your side, right? Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the ability to stand up to fear, to move forward through your fear. And sometimes it's the fear that causes you to step lightly. It's the fear that can be a lot of different things. The fear of losing out that causes you to act. I'm not necessarily saying like live in this fear of like, oh, but it's just like, okay, let's take it. Here's a simple one, especially for me. The fear of having a superficial or busted relationship with my children when they're adults drives me to invest now, to invest my time and my heart and my energy and to care about what matters to them and to just give myself to building them, but also my relationship with them. And so that fear of what could be if I did not act is fear on your side, right? And you can take that into a bunch of different things. Very cool. That's a standout for me on this album. All right, here we go. Track number 12 as we close out this album, Phase Forever. And yes, those are all the lyrics.
Little closer to heaven, getting close to where it begins. A little closer to heaven, getting close to where it begins. A little closer to heaven, getting close to where it begins. A little closer to heaven, I'm getting close to where it begins.
Oh man, that was fun. I'm glad that we finally got to Paul Meany's original stuff. I know ever since starting with 21 Pilots in 2025, probably October of 2025, some of you, have really wanted me to hear Paul's original stuff. So good job over on Patreon, voting it in and getting to it. Really fun experience. I can obviously see the influence into 21 Pilots music, and also just enjoy obviously Paul Meany's kind of original, just what he's wanting to create. A lot of very kind of spacey stuff, ethereal in nature to some extent. And even this idea of kind of what he was sharing, this being a little closer to heaven, close to where heaven begins, I feel like has kind of possibly two meanings. Because if you just take it from like in a life perspective, let's just say that heaven is the ideal, right? The thing that you're trying to achieve or pursue, whatever that looks like for you. The hope is that as we take steps in life, and sometimes it's steps backwards, right? It's a poisonous progression. But as you take steps through life, you become closer to that heaven, that ideal. But I think it also speaks to, especially from what it seems with Paul, his faith, every day as you live, believing in a heaven after death, that really life begins after death. It's an interesting thought as well, because every day that you live, you're getting closer to where it begins, where heaven begins, where life truly begins. That's a cool thought. All right. Well, I'm super excited to go check out the music video film, the album film. So if you want to join us for that, again, you can just head over to my Patreon. We have a good time over there, and would love to have you in the voting for the next Patreon chosen albums. So that's pretty much every Wednesday. Patreon's choosing the albums that get played every single Wednesday. Would love to have you over there as a part of that. But feel free to go check it out. See if it's something you might be interested in. Let me know your thoughts on this album in the comments. Are you new to Paul Meany? Have you been a fan for a long time? We'll have a good discussion there. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope to see you in the next one. It's reading good.